Labor MPs are on their way to Canberra for a high-stakes caucus meeting where the Prime Minister will try to explain why they should break an election promise and change the Stage 3 tax cuts. Live to Political Reporter Cameron Reddin. Cam, good morning. Anthony Albanese said he wouldn't do it multiple times, but the Stage 3 tax cuts will be amended, it seems.
Sure does, Pete. We're in for quite a day in the life of the 47th Parliament, and the Prime Minister has given himself no wriggle room on this issue, saying for 2 years that his position on the Stage 3 tax cuts had not changed. Now, positions don't change until they do, but the Prime Minister was rarely clearer than 2 days before the election in 2022, speaking to Kieran Gilbert on Sky News, where he promised voters, those who'd been given a tax cut or a legislated tax cut, and he gave them that certainty that it would go ahead in the current form.
We've outlined very clearly what our plans are. People are entitled to have that certainty of the tax cuts that have been legislated. What we want going forward is that certainty.
But that certainty is about to be taken away. The Stage 3 tax cuts are set to change, and here's how we're expecting that to happen. A key part of the Stage 3 reforms involves removing the 37% tax bracket and then taxing all money earned between $45,000 and $200,000 at 30 cents in the dollar. But we're expecting, as a part of these changes the Prime Minister is working on, that 37% bracket will instead remain, but it will apply to a higher level of income. So in other words, it will shift up the income bracket to apply to a higher band than $120,000 to $180,000. The Prime Minister on radio yesterday promised everyone would be getting a tax cut. That's something Stage 3 doesn't do in its current form, which indicates there could be movement in the lower tax brackets to help those on lower incomes and shift some of the relief from higher incomes to lower incomes. We're also expecting some movement on the higher tax bracket of 45%, which is due to kick in at $200,000 under Stage 3. It currently kicks in at $180,000. The suggestion is the Prime Minister is looking to go in the middle at $190,000 instead. So this is the guts of the plan that the Prime Minister will take to caucus later today. Cabinet thrashed it out yesterday. The Ministry will meet again today. The opposition already has their lines prepared, accusing the government of waging a class war on Australian voters.
This is an egregious betrayal of the Australian people. The Prime Minister and Treasurer lied over 100 times to the Australian people. This Prime Minister's word and this Treasurer's word means absolutely nothing.
So, Pete, we're in for quite a day here in Canberra, and ahead of a period of time, the government's going into 2 by-elections in Dunkley and Cook, a budget in May, and before we know it, we'll be back on the election campaign.
Oh boy, we are back in the swing of things already. Cameron Reddin, thank you. We'll talk to you next hour.